blue.
It's blue. Okay. So that's we've talked about the Zero Spark.
Yep.
Now we're moving to the next. I don't know. I'm going to be completely surprised. I didn't see any of these watches yet.
He hasn't seen anything.
So I'm flying blind here. Not so blind because I mean we're going to use.
Well, you have to trust me that I know you have to trust me that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, you kind of know what you're doing because I mean, like you have a collection. But that's the first thing that I wanted to ask you. Actually, how did you start with watch collecting?
Okay. Well, I've collected watches in two distinct segments. And like a lot of watch collectors, I'm a car enthusiast. Hence my channel name, Celine Driver. Like, share, subscribe. And if you want to know what that car is, I have several videos about the car. It's a walk around video and actually videos on there about specific modifications I've done to it. I don't work on my own car. Okay, full and fair disclosure. I know my limitations. And one of my limitations is I don't do that. But because I'm a car enthusiast, obviously you like all things mechanical. I like motorcycle. I don't ride. Probably never will after I broke
I think
my ankle.
most watch enthusiasts tend to gravitate towards that kind of line of
or
fandom.
those fandoms gravitate to watches.
I don't fancy myself as a car enthusiast, but I do appreciate cars and engines as much as the next person, the next watch collector, so to speak.
Now, the way I got into watch collecting initially was in a very unusual way. My favorite author books is a gentleman who recently passed away named Clive Cussler. And he wrote dozens and dozens. I have them all. I've read them all. The first series of books he did was a series of books where his main hero was a gentleman named Dirk Pitt, who was an Air Force major by trade, but also worked for an organization called NUMA, National Underwater Marine Association. Something like that. Anyway, as a skilled diver, he always wore, and the watch was pointed out very specifically in the book, he always wore an orange Doxa. And I kicked myself for not bringing that watch with me. I should have. But it's on my channel if you want to see it.
We're going to link that on my channel for sure, on this video.
And remember, this is back in the early 80s and late 70s. There was no internet per se. Al Gore hadn't invented it yet. So it was really hard for me to find a picture of what an orange Doxa was. I had no idea. And when I finally found a picture of one in a magazine, I said, damn, that's beautiful. And I always liked orange and blue. Go Gators. Yeah. Yes, I know they're going to suck this year. Don't send hate mail to him for that.
I know, but that's coming in later for one of the watches that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, so I saw that watch. I saw pictures of it, and I said, I've got to get one of those. Beautiful orange, fantastic looking case, the beads of rice. It all struck a chord. Fast forward to 2006. I had been divorced for a little while, and I didn't have to answer to anybody. And I found Doxa's website, and I found out that there was going to be a Dirk Pitt edition to commemorate the movie.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the movie Sahara, they made, I think, a Cussler edition and a Dirk Pitt edition. And for the life of me, I can't remember the difference between them. It's a subtle difference. And I managed to get a hold of one of the Dirk Pitt editions. And that was the first. I mean, I had owned a couple of watches here and there, junk watches. But that was the first serious watch that I bought. And I said, I wore it. I don't know where I'm going to walk right now. There's a reason.
There's a reason, yeah.
And I wore it, and it made me feel good. And when I wore that watch, it felt good. I felt proud. And I said, there's got to be more out there. And I got back on their website, and I saw other ones, and I saw other ones on eBay, and I saw other ones all over the place. I started accumulating. And I actually picked up quite a number of boxes. I only have 3 left now. But the 2006 orange one, the professional, and I also bought at that time their only offering of a GMT in blue or Caribbean. And I still have those 2. Those 2 have been around since 2006, and those are the oldest Sirius watches I own in terms of how long I've had them. And they're not leaving. They're staying. But eventually I dropped out of the hobby, mostly because, child support, life, that kind of thing. And then I'm trying to think of somewhere around 2015, my parents went away on one of their trips to Venice. And my dad said, come over, I got to show you something. And he showed me a watch, which I'm not going to describe it too much, and I still have that watch. And he said, you have to keep this watch going, because if you let that watch stop, to get it reset takes a maximum effort. And he said, you have to come over and wind the watch. You're going to come over anyway. So, and I looked at the watch, and he said, well, put it on. I said, and I immediately felt a connection not to just the watch, but also to my father, who is one of the biggest influences, if not the biggest influence in my life. And they went off on a trip, and I not only kept the watch running, but I wore it. And I said, I like this. And I asked him questions, and he gave me answers. And then I bought a couple of Seikos, which were nice enough at the time, and I could afford them. And I started wearing them, and all of a sudden the bug hit, and the bug hit hard. And the bug will not let go of me. and then a gentleman online, shout out to my friend Dvor, my favorite Croatian who lives in London. He was the one who turned me on to Zelos. And I bought my first Zelos hammerhead bronze meteorite dial, which I still have, on the channel, Celine Driver, like, share, subscribe.
He has a few state of the collection videos.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a
while. Well, no, I think you did. Oh yeah, that's true. But you did, I think, in January. So.
No, I did one. One last year. I need to do one.
But those doxes are in there.
Yeah, they're in there. Anyway, that's where the Zelos bug hit, and when the Zelos bug hit, I mean, it latched on, and then I decided that I wanted to start learning more about watches, about how they work, about learn how to work on them a little bit. I mean, I was tired of having to take my watches over to a jeweler and pay, $20-$30 to have them size it for me. I think I can do this. I actually bought a non-working bracelet watch off of eBay for like $20.
Who's not done that? I mean, like,
and
I've done that too.
Bought some tools off of Amazon and taught myself. And now I can do it. Now, pin and collar, I hate, but I can do it. And I have only ruined one link.
Well, the thing is, when you're in the not watch game, but in watch collecting, at some point you want to tinker with your watches, either at least with the straps and buckles. That's to a certain degree. Sometimes some people like try to open the case backs. I've done that with some really cheap vintage old school watch. I know those are Franken watches. Okay, I actually talked about it in my channel. I don't care because I just want the style. I just want the watch. It doesn't matter to me whether it's complete or not complete. I know that if it's complete, it's gonna cost me an arm and a
Well,
leg.
that Pogue I sold you.
Yeah.
That's not. It did have a little tinge of Franken to it.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, like that to me, the value of that is from the story and from the person that actually I got it from. And it's the same thing with you and your father, which is a beautiful story.
Yeah, and well, towards the end of 2020 until he passed away in September of 22, we started collecting together. We sort of not really merged our collections together, but he was giving me watches that he couldn't wear anymore. And did I bring any like that? No, well, no. Well, a couple of those, like.
Well, maybe the one that you didn't want to talk about, I didn't want to.
Well, that was one of them.
So that's for sure.
Yeah,
you brought one of them. I saw it. My eyes only.
Yeah. He couldn't wear it anymore because it just didn't fit him anymore. I mean, he lost a lot of weight. But it was a way that as his health was deteriorating, he couldn't really leave the house much or towards the end at all. And you know, buying watches and trading watches with some of the people that I now work with, and doing it with me and teaching me.
They started with your father.
They started and now they're with me, and that was a way to really even further connect and spend time with him in a time of his life where he had nothing but time, and I got to know him more by doing that with him, and I turned him on to Zelos.
Oh,
and he bought quite a number of Zelos. He had like 20 or so, when he passed, and he loved them, especially bronze. He really loved the bronze stuff.
You should. Oh, you probably got him the bronze bracelet too, which is
yeah. He was a little worried about that. He was afraid it would turn his skin green. I said, no, it's stainless steel. But it was a great way to connect with my father on a level that I hadn't. We always had a good relationship. I'm not going to say that we didn't. We did. But to do something together that
is amazing.
And then he passed it on to me. When he passed, obviously, I got his collection. And while there are some watches in there that were not to my style and taste and that I either sold off or traded off, he said to me, I'm gone. I don't care. Do what you want. And he said, I love that attitude. That's what I said to my kids. I said, do it. When I'm gone, this collection is yours. Of course, they're both girls. They're really not into these monster watches. But
well, for now, you'll never know.
They might have sons. Well, it's a great way to connect with your family.
Exactly. I wanted to say that because maybe the watches are gone, or maybe dad is gone, but the memories are there. The connection and the relationship that you built with your dad remains to this day. I mean, to the point that you're talking about it, and you're sharing it with us. It's a great privilege.
And I'll show you one. Is it one or? Yeah, well, two of them.
Yeah, we can start now.
No, we'll start over here. But two of those watches that I have brought with me here have very strong connections to him. And one of them, unfortunately, he never got a chance to own, but he wanted to own one. And when I got the opportunity to trade one of his watches for that watch,
I think I remembered that. I just don't remember which watch it is.
You'll see it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of watch collecting as well. It's kind of like a continuation of that promise, so to speak, or that idea, as one collection is passed on to another from one generation to another. And I think it's the stories that's behind these that makes these watches a lot more interesting compared to just simply design. I mean, like our channel, we talk about design a lot, and at least I like to think so. But
Yeah.
it's really the stories that makes it a lot richer and brings all of those disconnected designs together.
Well,
To that
I
one
mean,
thing.
like when I talked about the Mirage Tourbillon, that has a story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Ken's watch, and then he had a story about why he needed to sell it, and then it becomes my story um, about how I really wanted to add that specific line to my collection to quote unquote complete my Zelos collection. My Zelos collection will never be complete, obviously, but if I'm going to live up to the nickname Mr. Zelos,
You gotta have that.
gotta have I gotta have a Turby. I mean, come on. Well, I don't gotta. I mean, I was given the opportunity, and thank God I had the wherewithal and the ability, and I sold 4 watches to get it. But I'm fortunate in that respect that I was able to do this. I mean, I feel like I look at my collection, and I'm impressed.
Well, I am. I mean, like, who wouldn't be? I mean, like,
But I don't want to say I'm impressed to be braggadocious. I'm just impressed with my good fortune to have the knowledge to know what I'm doing and the ability to do it and the support
and
system around me to do it.
yeah, because so many that's also getting lost nowadays with social media and all that. It's the doing part. We tend to admire people, or we tend to gravitate towards people who are doing stuff, but we ourselves tend to just sit down and watch them. But that's not how it was before, and I think that's kind of getting devalued nowadays. But it's the doing part that makes it a lot more satisfying. Just go out there and do it and grab the opportunity.
But let's look at
Speaking
some
of
watches.
yeah, speaking of the story, so we want to talk about the watch and the stories behind it.
Well, let's look at a couple of watches in this segment. I wanted to bring this watch specifically. This is I've had periods where I liked Seikos, and then I sold them off, and I didn't want Seikos for a while anymore. And then I recently got back into. I really like these Seikos, like this one, the SPBs.
Oh wow, okay.
This one is the SPB 381. These 62 Mas revisions with the 6 arm movements in them. And this one, I believe, is the GMT.
Yeah, this is GMT.
Yeah, I need to fix that GMT so it's pointed to Venice, but I forgot to fix that one. But I've picked up a bunch of these SPB watches recently. This one I actually bought.
Oh wow,
very nice.
Very nice.
Seiko has really upped their game recently when they went through their. I think when they got rid of none. When they got rid of the SKX line, and they they started raising their prices a little bit, and they started refining their designs. I think they found another gear, as it were, and I think it's reflected very nicely in this watch. Now, unfortunately, it does have that dreaded and horrific pin and collar. But Tyler over at Exquisite Timepieces, where I bought the watch, he sized it for me, so I didn't have to go through the agony.
That's a nice curve too. With the other
they've really upped their game, and because they upped their game, I decided that I really wanted to obtain more of these SPB type models.
Oh, that's the micro adjust.
Yeah. And this is the one I wanted to bring with me because I really liked it. I don't own a lot of green watches. I don't know what. Yeah, it does match my shirt. I'll probably be wearing this watch.
That's very nice.
Oh
yeah, you could definitely wear it here.
Yeah.
In Miami area.
Especially now that it's raining cats and dogs right now. But I really like this style. So I picked up quite a few Seikos recently. and pretty much all of them came from Exquisite. I mean, they are a Seiko dealer. Tyler is very easy to work with, and no, I'm not getting money or compensation for mentioning any of this.
Well, you should.
I probably
Tyler,
should. I
if
probably
you're
should.
watching.
But he gives good. They give good deals.
Well,
I mean,
better
so,
deals now.
yeah, and also I got this watch roll from them too.
That's
So
amazing.
now, also in this watch roll is now I have now whenever I hear the term one watch collection,
I don't believe that, by the way.
well, yeah, I don't believe in a one watch collection because it's like Lay's potato chips. You can't eat just one. Shout out to my mom, who's a fiend for Lay's potato chips. But one watch collection to me is stupid. I mean, I'm sorry to any of you guys that love this idea and pound on it constantly, but I think it's the stupidest talking point in the world. But having said that, if somebody held a gun to my head and say, or should I say that? I should say,
you can do that. It's fine. Yeah, sure.
I don't want to get you demonetized.
Well,
edit the word.
I don't know that.
Anyway, if there was going to be such a thing in my life, Tudor Pelagos. First generation Pelagos.
This is the first one, right?
Yeah.
This is 42?
42. That is in the matte blue, which I think is the better of the two colorways. Full titanium.
That click is
beautifully refined, beautiful watch. It's thin enough that it can fit under a long sleeve. It's elegant looking, and in the black, it's even more elegant looking. Although I try and stay away from the black watches. You know, I have too many. But I mean, unless you're in a complete dress watch environment, this watch works in almost every setting. And it's one of my favorite watches. That's actually one of my dad's old watches.
Oh, nice. So there you go. There's the story behind it.
Yeah.
And I like I always like with the Pelagos how they use the floating hands because of it really those snowflakes and floating hands makes it a lot clearer and more space than it has.
It's easy to read at a glance.
And I love that. I love that kind of sort of mystery. Oh, how is this connected to the stem and all that? But of course I know that, but that visual impact you cannot get away from it.
No, the only downside to this watch, and it's minor once you get used to it, is this silliness right here. I mean, this
I was gonna say that. I was gonna point
spring loaded. Oh, you got it all. Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
well, you get it micro adjusted out to this point, and then everything past this point is spring loaded, and it's like, really, I mean, I would just rather have, you know, the ratcheting micro adjust all the way through the length of the clasp. I mean, I know why they did it, but I think it, you know, there's an old expression, being cute for the sake of being cute.
Yeah.
That to me is a solution looking for a problem.
Yeah, well,
And
a lot of watches are like that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is true. This is one of my complaints about it. It's not really just the ratcheting or the
I mean, it ratchets up to a point, and then it spring loads from that.
Yeah, but I felt that they didn't have to do this. I mean, like if this was cleaner, I would have passed it off. I think that's my.
I mean, it is a way to solve the problem, but I think they could have done it a little bit cleaner, and a little bit simpler.
But do they have that in the newer version?
I don't know if they changed it in the newer version, but
I think that's something that I can't get passed by. You know, that's why also the FXD. If we look at my the later design that we have, it's kind of like the FXD.
But on my wrist, it just fits.
There you go. Fits perfect.
Beautiful. Yeah, and it's short enough. I mean, the lug to lug is short enough that, I mean, you could wear it.
Yeah.
I mean, the overhead shot might look a little weird, but and the clasp, you know, the locking mechanism is perfect.
It's perfect.
See,
It's still, yeah.
that would work.
Yeah, it still works. Yeah. I mean, I've worn 42s. I've worn 44s. I mean, I wear G-Shocks, so that's
Yeah.
my that's my
Well,
thing.
G-Shocks don't count.
Exactly. Random Rob.
Yes.
Random Rob
has been
popularized that. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. G-Shocks don't.
Random Rob has been a big influence on me.
Yeah. Actually, that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask. I mean, how did you get into the Random Rob stream?
I discovered his channel when it was a lot smaller, not as small as yours and mine are, but it was well under. Well, no, you're over 20,000 now. His channel was under 20,000 when I discovered it, and I love the quick hit unboxings, and then
he's known for that.
And then the longer form, and then he would do, and at the time he was doing Seiko mods and stuff like that. So I learned
it's the Seiko mods that brought me in.
Yeah, and that brought me in too because I was buying a lot of Seikos at the time, and
you used to kill turtles, guys.
Yeah, I was one of the people that really complained because I live in Florida and we're big on the sea turtles down here, and I hated to see turtles being sacrificed. And I said, you can't come down here to Florida, Rob, because the environmental folks are coming.
But things have changed. I think that's been what, 2 years since
3 years. I mean, he doesn't kill turtles anymore at all. But yeah, and then I became a contributor on the live streams, and then I became his #1 troll killer.
There you go. And that's when I came in. At some point, I came in and I started to interact because I didn't know about YouTube live streams until Random Rob's notification popped in. Maybe I actually did 4, but then my equipment back in the time wasn't up to par, and I wanted to do so much more than what I think I should be doing. So maybe in the future I could do that. But that's when I came into Random Rob because I've been always looking at ways to configure my watch, especially because Seiko's the most moddable watch out there. And Random Rob kept on popping in. And then at one point I subscribed, and then a notification, he went live. What's this live thing? Then I started watching. At some point I started chiming in, and he would call my name. Oh, I was like so happy. I was like, oh, he called Design. He couldn't pronounce Atelier, but anyway, he was.
It took me a while to pronounce Atelier right. It did. It took about a month.
Yeah. Well, and that's when that interaction started. That's where our relationship started. Just to recollect the story again. I've done that numerous times in the channel. That I asked a question in Random Rob's stream. That's why Random Rob is a key ingredient in this interview, in this relationship also. I asked in that stream, is it possible to launch a channel or have a channel reviewing watches without actually touching the watches? And lo and behold, Dane's the one who answered, and he said, "Yeah, well, it's much better to review watches when you have the watches in your hand."
Well, you're taken more seriously.
Yeah, you're taken more seriously if you're able to do that.
I mean, all the channels that I take seriously, when they do watch reviews, they have the metal in the hand. I mean, you can get away with pictures only so far.
And I agree with that. And let's not confuse that my reaction to that as not agreeing to that. I actually agree to that. And now having a channel for 3.5 years, I fully support and I fully prefer to have the watch on my hand to review. And so Dane was right. But that was the catalyst on why I made the channel, because I wanted to prove to Dane that I could do it without having the watch on my hand. And I started to make some videos without the watches until Zelos Elshan gave me a chance and sent me a watch to Aruba. And that's where it all started. When I got Zelos on the channel, it was instrumental for other micro brands to jump in and take a chance at Design Atelier. And again, that is why we're interviewing Dane, because he's the very catalyst for my own channel, where it is now, it's because of Dane's not just challenge but the support for Random Rob's uh, live stream and watch collecting in general. I hold Dane as a key part of my watch collecting or watch enthusiasm, if we call it that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because you really are a big part, and that's why I promised to Dane that one day we're going to meet. We're going to have this sit down, and that day has finally come. And we have a few cameras. Hopefully, the cameras are still rolling.
Oh, I think they're still rolling.
And that's the whole point why we wanted to have this kind of conversation, and it's extra special for me at a personal level. Finally meeting the person that's instrumental also in me diving into this. I mean, imagine 3 or 4. I couldn't imagine 3.5 years ago that I'd be changing careers from retail into luxury jewelry and watches because of this channel and because of Dane's one comment. And I still have that one comment somewhere in my. I think I copied or I saved the live stream. I saved the live stream, but I can't remember which point it was. But hopefully I could find the clip and show it somewhere where he actually commented there. Yeah, it's better to have it. And
I didn't know any of that, really. I didn't know.
and
Who knew?
and he was indeed, when I launched the channel, he was there and he was commenting in every single video ever since. And you could look at the videos that I've made. You could see always Dane is there to give it, and that's why when I had the show, he has um his specific segment there.
And now we hear from Mr. Zillow.
Yeah, now you're here with Mr. Zillow.
And the picture isn't bad either.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
a little heavier.
He requested that picture be the same. So I mean, like,
well, it's a decent picture. I don't take a decent picture. Anyway, I wanted to show you the last watch in this segment because.
Well, there's one more here. I mean, like,
yeah, but that's going in this segment.
Okay, that's true.
As we all know, Zelos is my favorite micro brand by a long way. I do have a favorite mainstream brand, and it's not Rolex. Although it's
everybody knows Rolex.
Yeah, it's not Tudor. It could almost be Omega, but it's not. It's Breitling.
Oh wow, yeah, there's a Breitling.
And this is now. I have a good number of Breitlings. If you can see them all on my channel, Celine Driver, like, share, subscribe.
Navitimer,
but not any Navitimer. This one is a very unique Navitimer. This one is the Navitimer 146152.
I'm bad at serial numbers.
No, that's not a serial number. That's the model.
That's the model number. Sorry.
1461 refers to the number of days there are in 4 years.
Oh, okay.
If you add up 365, 365, 365, 366, it adds up to 1461, if my math is right. Yeah, it should be. The 52 refers to this subdial at the 3 o'clock, which is a 52-week counter.
Oh wow! Okay.
This watch,
I've never seen that.
No, it's unique to the Navitimer. This watch is it's a stopwatch. Obviously, it shows week of the year, month, day, date. It only needs to be adjusted once every 4 years if it's running properly. By the way, this watch hates winders and has to be wound manually every.
I mean, like, winding manually is not that bad.
No, it's not.
But this is fully wound. Oh no, it's not. Okay. I actually like winding watches because I mean that's part of the appeal. You know, my wife keeps complaining, okay, but why do you wind it? It's part of the appeal. Like when you take,
it's part of the ritual.
That's, you know, I mean, somebody sent me a watch winder now, and that's also going to be in the channel in review. But it's part of your your interaction with the watch, that you wind it, and different watches have different winding.
Yeah, like I wind every day. Every day I wind 5 watches, and every other day I
Well,
add
there you go.
I had two. I had 2 more, which are manual winds. I let them run to near the end of their power. All the other watches except this one, I wind 50 times. This one wants 70.
Oh, really?
It doesn't like
But
50.
that's 70. That's for the full wind.
Full day.
Full day. Okay.
It doesn't like 50. It doesn't like 60.
It wants
It
70.
wants 70.
Okay.
Or it stops.
Well, that's fine. I mean, like that'll take you like just a few seconds.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Now Navitimers are among my favorite watches overall. I love chronographs. I love the look. I love the feel. You can see it's all adjusted with pushers for the most part. There's 2 on the side, the 2 there, and there's 2 there.
More. Wow, that's like a lot.
And it has a slide rule, which no, I don't know how to use.
Oh, actually, that's one of the fun stuff that when I discovered that that's actually a calculating device. I was like, wow. But this one's fixed, or is it?
No, it turns. It's a little stiff.
It's a little stiff. Okay. I'm just afraid.
Well, the watch was recently rebuilt.
Oh, wow.
When I got it, it actually, one of the chronograph hands was stuck.
There's only 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's unique. I mean, there's not a lot of 4-dial Navitimers.
That's true. That's true.
And that 52-week complication at 3 o'clock is what makes it particularly unique.
Yeah, I don't see that often. I think I think I remember now that there were week counters, but the thing is, like, where do you use it here in the United States? I mean, in Aruba we do, because we have the Dutch system, and the Dutch system love using week numbers.
No, we don't do that. But it's a nice complication to have. Unfortunately, unless I have a loop, it's kind of hard to see.
Well, it's not. I mean, like you could readily see it. I guess that's the value of pointers.
Yeah, but the watch is an annual watch. It only has to be adjusted
every leap year.
Every leap year. So, I mean, it will perpetual on from the February 28th to March 1st.
Very nice.
But on February 28th, of, I guess the next one will be 2028, I'll have to manually adjust it to the 29th. So that's where the 1461
This is a 41 also. 41, 40,
42.
42. It's still a 42? It looks
I think it's a 42. I don't know. Hold it up to the Pelagos.
Yeah, the Pelagos is definitely bigger.
Yeah. But I have quite a number of Breitlings. I have Chronomats. I have some of the industrial looking, military looking things. I have a couple of Premiers. I love the
Premiers are nice.
I love the pistachio. I have the pistachio and I have the salmon. Why they made the pistachio in manual wind and the salmon in an automatic?
There's a difference?
Well, the pistachio doesn't have a moon phase.
Well,
I have an Omega at home. It's a Speedmaster, sorry, with a moon phase, Aventurine dial, manual wind.
Well,
who the hell makes a moon phase with a manual wind? That
doesn't make sense. I mean,
that makes no sense to me. And the crown and the crown guard and the crown and the pushers are so close together. I've actually raised a blister because of that watch. I know, first world problems, right?
It should be like, that's a design flaw there.
No, well, not design flaw. It's design stupidity.
Putting it lightly. I like to put stuff lightly, I guess.
Yeah, but not me. No. But that watch is beautiful, and I don't want to get rid of it. But my God, every other day I have to wind that thing back to full power, and it literally, it's the last watch I wind because it hurts. But who puts a moon phase on it?
Yeah, I mean, because now you're gonna have to look at the moon face somewhere else when you pick up the watch?
Well, once you set it, as long as it keeps going, it's fine. But when I get home,
well, so long as you keep wearing it every day and keep winding it, yeah.
Well, when I get home tomorrow, there's like 2 or 3 watches that I'm gonna have to advance for a couple of days to get it. Yeah. Oh, the other one that does that too is I have a JLC reversal.
Of course.
Moon phase, manual wind.
Manual wind. Well, at least with the reversal, I could give them a pass because hey, it's a reversal.
Yeah, but they make reversals with automatics
too. Yeah, correct. But
I didn't think I'd ever love a reversal, but I really like that watch. I got that from European.
I have changed my mind on the reversals. I used to love them, but now that I work with a retailer that's actually an authorized dealer of JLC, and I've seen most of them are really big on my wrist. They just shoot on my it's yeah, I can't bear that. I mean, I love them, but I don't have the wrist for them, unfortunately.
Well, recently I found a lot. I think everyone on my channel knows, or everyone that's seen me in a live stream knows, I have this loathing for Panerai with that wart on the side. By the way, you did. I will never forgive you for doing what he did. He did a Zelos watch with a Panerai thing on the side
just to spite him,
just to screw with me. And I'm still salty about it.
I think he's still upset about it. Yeah.
But I found a Panerai that I like.
You like,
and I bought it.
It's a Rajumir.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Rajum.
I pronounce it Radiomir.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
It looked like Radiomir. I found one.
Because it doesn't have a wart.
It doesn't have a wart.
That's why.
And there's also a GMT version of it, which I'm eyeballing.
Well, it used to be an Oyster Rolex case. So
yeah.
Well, Oyster? Is it an Oyster? I think it is still. It's called an Oyster, but that's where it came from.
Well, as long as that Panerai doesn't have a wart, I can do the Panerai.
Now I'm trying to
but in all fairness, I was open-minded enough when I went to Exquisite. He pulled one out, and it was one of the Submariners or Submariners or whatever, big watch, but I could wear it. I put it on, and I wore it for 10 seconds. I said, "Yep," and now I know I hate that. And he laughed. But I like the Radiomir. And there's a video. I don't think the video's out yet. I think it's coming in a little while. But
you schedule, I guess, quite a few.
Yeah, I schedule out quite a few. So I did, and because I say that because I know your guys sell Panerais, and
I've sold a couple. I've had.
So I opened my mind enough to like one line of Panerai.
Honestly, it's not also for me. I also don't like if you ask me, I still prefer also the Rajumir line. But the bigger drawback for me for Panerai is still the size. The ones that fit me are the ladies' lines. So that says about my wrist.
You know what? Whatever fits. Yeah. But I can understand why you have a reluctance to head that direction.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, we'll break.